Welcome to my first challenge video on Chrono Warfare. In this video, I will attempt to beat every game mode in Chrono Warfare from Stone Age to Colosseum using only towers from the Stone Age/Prehistoric Era. So, without waffling, let's begin. I chose to use Clubman, Hunter, Torture, Kill and Pack Hunter, excluding Forge as I believed it would be the least useful. Starting in the Stone Age, we first placed a Clubman near the start of the path to deal with weak early game enemies. I upgraded this Clubman to level 2, and soon after placed a Hunter to catch early monkey leaks. This allowed me to save up enough money to place Pack Hunter, which would be my main carry throughout this challenge. I then proceeded to breeze through waves, upgrading Pack Hunter through levels 2, 3, 4, and eventually max level. After this, I moved back to my previous defences, first maxing the Clubman and then my Hunter. Now that everything was maxed, I began working on kilns. I got one to max and one to level 4, just in time for the Mammoth to spawn. I placed a few max hunters around the Mammoth and made short work of the game. Stone Age complete. Now time to round off the Prehistoric Era with Iron Age. I began by placing 2 Clubmen at the start of the path to handle bulk, with 2 torches slightly further back to catch leaks. This handled most enemies, allowing me to get the Pack Hunter down. I made a few small upgrades, but mostly just rushed the Pack Hunter up to level 4. This kickstarted my economy, allowing me to max a Clubman. I then upgraded a Torture, placed a Hunter, and finally maxed Pack Hunter. From here, the game was pretty easy. I firstly maxed my Torches, my Hunter, and then began placing kilns, Hunters, and a Clubman. My DPS was skyrocketing, and the enemies were a breeze. It wasn't long before I reached the Ironsmith, and he was similarly smoked. Now it was time for Egypt. I was finally into the Ancient Era, and the difficulty would rapidly ramp up from here. We first started by waiting for the waves to take over, giving us a slight cash boost and allow us to place Pack Hunter down. As usual, Pack Hunter carried as we upgraded him through levels 1, 2, 3 and 4. This handled most everything apart from some minor leaks, which I placed a kiln down to deal with. I then expanded my army of kilns, placing 3 in total to quickly and efficiently cover all lanes. The game continued as a breeze, especially after our small upgrades to kill and maxing our Pack Hunter. After this, I now had lots of spare cash to play around with. Thus, I upgraded kilns some more and began working on the Hunters, which would be my primary DPS here. I placed 2 at max level and then placed a couple of Clubmen to vary the damage type. The Scarab was a breeze and I continued spamming Hunters. Eventually, the first Tomb Guard came, but he too was shredded down relatively easily. In preparation for the Pharaoh, I upgraded kilns some more and placed a number of more Hunters. Finally, the Pharaoh arrived. His first grounded form was annihilated very quickly. Upon his rebirth, he was still no issue. We demolished his tomb guards, and, due to Hunters being able to detect flying, we shredded him down too. Ancient Egypt was complete. Now time for Ancient Rome. It was going very well so far, and thus I began optimistic about finishing the challenge. Firstly, I placed a Pack Hunter, as usual for my primary power. I got him to level 2, but soon realised I needed more crowd control and varying damage types. Thus, I placed a Clubman near the start. I upgraded this and soon placed a second Clubman further down the track. This little boost was just what we needed, and it allowed me to get my Pack Hunter all the way up from levels 2 to 3 to 4, just in time for Centurion, who the Pack Hunter demolished. We breezed through some more enemies, reaching the Stonemason, who was no match for my now level 5 Pack Hunter. From here, with Max Clubman and the Pack Hunter, it was time for the usual Hunter spam, along with a few kilns. This game mode was honestly too easy. We reached the chariot and he was annihilated. Boom, Ancient Rome complete. Now it was time for the final primary game mode of Chrono Warfare, the Colosseum. This game mode was seriously difficult. I have lost the footage of several attempts, but I failed 3 times on solo. I thought it was over, but thankfully I encountered 2 other high level players willing to help me in this challenge. My hopes were reignited for maybe completing the challenge, and we entered the match. We opened with a solid plan, level 4 Hunter spam, Pack Hunters and kilns. I began working on an army of Hunters, whilst my teammates focused on rushing a level 4 Pack Hunter and placing kilns respectively. The early game was going strong, already noticeably stronger than solo attempts. Eventually, Spartacus arrived, but he was shredded down. Now with an adequate amount of kilns, both of my teammates were focusing on Pack Hunters, with myself still continuing to place Hunters. After getting around 5 level 4 Hunters, it was my turn to get Pack Hunter down, as my teammates pivoted towards placing the level 4 hunters. We did leak a few enemies, but it was nothing major. Crescents arrived, but he too was annihilated. The army was going rapidly, and it was looking good. We now had 3 pack hunters, a horde of hunters, some clubmen, and a couple of forgers buffing everything. Our next mini-boss was here, Chariot, but this too was shredded. Enemies were now mostly no issue, and we thus began placing/maxing hunters around the map for DPS against the soon-to-come final boss. Plebius came, who did come pretty close to the end, but did fall just in the nick of time. Finally, after a couple more minutes, Vincerius arrived, and it was time for the final battle. But, to be honest, we stood no chance. He run our cash down by forcing us to sell our towers to avoid death, which left us with minimal defences for his huge horde. This horde eventually caught up to us, and there was nothing we could do. We lost. We still did surprisingly well though. Stone Age towers did pretty well, reaching all the way to ancient Colosseum before falling. Pretty good for starter towers. If you're interested in more Chrono Warfare content, check out the linked videos in the description for a full tier list and an in-depth pack hunter guide/review. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more fun and entertaining Chrono Warfare challenges.